It's a delight to hear your voices. Where are you currently located, and madam?
We are in southern Lebanon, in our Ghanbatt headquarters.
I'm assuming Ghanbatt means Ghana Battalion or Ghana something.
Yes, please. The Ghanaian Battalion here, the headquarters of the Ghanaian Battalion in Al-Khawza in southern Lebanon.
It's good to hear your voice. So let's start. I don't know how we'll be doing it, but if I throw the question there, because I am unable to see, whoever feels like, whoever the spirit touches, then you can answer. But then I'm sure we're going to have a great conversation right here on Z 101.9 FM. So first of all, what motivated you to get into this line of work in the first place?
Okay, thank you very much. Growing up, I used to see and read about the exploits of the Ghana Armed Forces in various peacekeeping theaters. And Ghana has contributed to various peacekeeping missions over the world since the 1960s. And we have distinguished ourselves very well in various roles as peacekeepers. It is even worth to note that the first force commander for the United Nations Defense Force in Lebanon, where we currently are, was a Ghanaian general, Lieutenant General Erskine. And through their efforts, Ghana has been put on the map in terms of peacekeeping. And as such, we are motivated to join this cause and contribute to world peace.
Interesting. Anybody else who shares a different reason why they joined this force?
Okay, so growing up, I had my basic education in a school which was military based in Ghanbatt. So I grew up seeing a lot of military folks and parents going for peacekeeping mission, and the excitement and joy that came into the hearts of kids when they saw their parents go for these missions. And growing up, having become a military officer, I got the opportunity to come here, and I thought it was one of the best things I could jump up to, and also contribute my quota to this country and that of Ghana.
Okay, let me find out from you, is this something you are chosen to join or you opt for? What is the system like?
Okay, so our system in Ghana, you are nominated or you are given the opportunity to serve as a peacekeeper with the United Nations. And I must say, most Ghanaian military personnel jump at this opportunity to also contribute their quota. Let's say, take this off the bucket list or have this as part of activities as military personnel. So yes, you are nominated, and we are very happy and delighted to jump at the opportunity to serve as United Nations peacekeepers.
Great. So if you could tell us what has been the most rewarding experience so far as you join the peacekeeping missions?
Thank you very much. This is my first United Nations peacekeeping mission, and I'm serving with the 90th Ghanaian Battalion in Lebanon. And first of all, being my first mission makes it a rewarding experience for me, because I've gotten the opportunity, first of all, to serve with the United Nations. Also, as my job description as a military information officer has exposed me to lots of information on conflicts around the world. That's helped me better understand some of the things we see on the CNN, on Al Jazeera, the things we hear going on around the world. If you are not in the theater, it's very difficult to appreciate and understand what is going on or what is happening. But joining the United Nations force gives you a better perspective into these incidents, into these issues going on in the world.
Okay. Anybody else to share the most rewarding experience so far?
Okay. To me, the most rewarding experience has to do with me witnessing the first-hand positive impact of our presence to the local communities surrounding us. In that the assistance the battalion gives to them and the first-hand information we interact with them.
Also, it is very fulfilling to see smiles on the face of the local population that the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon has come here to assist them and bring them out of their current predicament. And it's a sense of joy and achievement, fulfillment, that we are also able to contribute to the betterment or the livelihoods of this local population.
Okay. Let me hear from the females behind. I'm interested in hearing what the experience has been, the most rewarding of the experiences so far.
So I came in with the appointment of a CIMIC officer, which is the Civil Military Corporation officer. And initial stages of this mission, I had the opportunity to meet with locals in their homes. I had a chance to interact with them, dine with them, and it was very fulfilling. You see the joy on their faces, you see the smiles on their faces, and they have a very good and welcoming spirit, which makes UNIFIL very accepted in Southern Lebanon. So seeing them and knowing that they have that peace of mind, knowing that they are secured and they are protected, gives me that fulfillment.
Okay, and it's still on you. There is a UN report that said that, in fact, it was even encouraging more women to be sent onto the field, and because there are special advantages that women come with. Is this true in your experience, and could you share light on that?
So women in peacekeeping serve as role models to the women and the girls in the communities, in that they are able to view you and then wish that they can go for the non-traditional careers in the society.
Oh, okay. So you are inspiring the next generation of the women who are going to break the ceiling.
Exactly.
That's good to know. Now, let me find out from all of you. It is all not smiles. Of course, there are going to be challenges. Could you share some of the challenging situations you faced during your deployment and how you were able to overcome it?
Okay, thank you very much. So, like my colleague rightly said, when we began this mission, it began smoothly. We were able to conduct most of our activities, interacting with the locals, conducting our operational activities and some administrative activities. However, a challenging part of our tour of duty here was when the spillover of the war currently ongoing in Gaza drew close to our borders. And it meant that I had to work constantly under pressure and with limited time, almost every day, to deliver expected results. And like I mentioned earlier, this is my first UN peacekeeping mission, and I didn't have a template to go by. So I had to come up with innovative ideas to be able to accomplish every task being given to me, always thinking on my feet. However, I overcame them by committing myself to lots of reading materials to understand the theater in which we are in and how best I can accomplish the task given me, give out a very, very good output, and contribute my quota to the peacekeeping effort of the Ghanaian battalion here.
Oh, okay. And any other person? What has been the challenging situations you found yourself in? How did you overcome that?
So I came here as the CIMIC officer, as stated earlier, and my basic job is to interact with the civilian population, to liaise with them, to enhance our task here as UNIFIL. Initially, when we came in, we met people in their homes. We had a full community with people with happy faces, people who were ready to welcome us into their homes. Like I said earlier on, we dined with them, feasted with them, and when the unstable situation started, these things changed. The entire village became a ghost town. You go out there and you meet nobody. People who used to welcome us, people who used to wave at us when we're in our vehicles, had all relocated to safe havens. The only thing you see out there is pets being left behind in an empty town. You know, even though we are military personnel and we are supposed to be strong, we have a human face, and these things also affect us some way, somehow. But like, you know, we are trained to always put our emotions together and take it up from there to be able to help the people in Southern Lebanon.
Okay, so that has to be Captain Sylvia Agbenyo. I'm right.
Yes, Captain Solly Adrian.
Okay, all right. So and the next person.
Okay, so I am deployed as a platoon commander in the forward position, and since the unstable situation began, we have observed or we have witnessed lots of violations of the UN resolution, UN Security Council Resolution 1701, as we've witnessed constant skirmishes along the blue line. And then we've had some disruption to our operational, administrative, and logistics movements in the mission area of operations. There's also been a drastic shift from spending time in our prefabricated offices and accommodations to spending long hours in the bunkers. We can go as far as 12 hours continuous in the bunkers, and we constantly have to wear fragmentation jackets and vests with helmets throughout the day.
Okay, so if I'm right, that has to be Captain Mami Freme Edisepoku, right?
Exactly.
Great. So I'm getting the names one by one as we go. I like that. That's one more person that I'm expecting to talk.
Oh, okay. So my challenging situation I faced was I'm actually deployed as the officer commander in one of the forward position, which is closer to the blue line. And the challenge I first had was during the beginning of the unstable situation. Mine had to do with civilians seeking shelters at my position. This was new to me because this is my second time of being in UNIFIL. The first tour was smooth. I had no issue with this unstable situation, but the second one came as a surprise. It was just an impromptu. You get up one morning and you see lots of civilians seeking shelter at your location, and you have to take the task of screening them, searching them, because you don't know who is who and who is not who, and you are supposed to request for authorization from your commanding officer before you can take them in. During that, there's still fire ongoing. So you basically face the challenge of dealing with this situation as the on-scene commander, how you deal with it, because these are lives of people that you need to take into consideration. But with good communication and others from above, we were able to overcome this challenge.
Okay, so that has to be Captain Mijida, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I've gotten all the names. Let me come to Lieutenant Nanabin as well. Let me find out from Nanabin. So how has UN peacekeeping evolved over the years, and what changes have you seen in your time serving?
Okay, thank you very much. So the previous peacekeeping missions, I mentioned a few in Congo, Rwanda, used to do with civil wars or internal wars in countries, and which mandated or warranted United Nations forces to deploy on grounds and separate the warring factions. Those times are past, and currently we have UN peacekeeping missions dealing with threats from terrorist organizations, dealing with issues between two nations at war or fighting with each other. And that is very different from the theaters we had in the 1960s and 70s. And it has evolved so much over the years in the areas also of technology and information sources. So then it was very difficult to gain or receive information to be able to perform your task. But now, due to the onset or the surge in internet and other technological advancements, it is quite easy to get information from various sources, analyze them, and implement them or use them to conduct your operational activities. And this is quite different from what I heard from the past peacekeepers, where gaining information was very difficult, and you would have to really go down to the grassroots, go down to the foot, as in the soldiers or the locals, to source information to be able to conduct your operational activities. And this is how I see the peacekeeping missions around the world evolving. And it's going to be the same for the foreseeable future.
Thank you so much. That's Lieutenant Nana Bain Apiakum. Captain Mejida, this is your second time in Unifil. What was the first experience like, and how different is it from this one?
So like I said earlier on, my first time was relatively peaceful, and I came on a different appointment. I was a personnel officer for that particular battalion. So during that time, I used to basically be in the office to administer personnel. The interaction with personnel was minimized. I used to work with them on paper, let me put it that way. But this time around, I'm on ground. I'm the officer commanding the company, commanding people, and it's kind of, I would say, stressful. It's an experience, a new experience altogether. Like now, I have to deal with them in person, having different kind of people with different characters, coupled with this situation. So it's been good. It's been good, and the exposure is okay. At least I have two different sides to deal with. That is the peaceful aspect, and now the unstable situation. So the experience has been good.
Okay, Captain Mejida, what do you believe is the most critical aspect of peacekeeping, and how do you prioritize your efforts in this regard?
To me, the most critical aspect of peacekeeping has been force protection for troops. This is to ensure troops have enough to conduct operational activities, and also the civil military cooperation, which engages the local population to uniform peacekeepers, and also smoothing the terrain for our operation.
Okay, maybe we should also find out from Captain Sylvia Agbenyo what she thinks is the most critical aspect from a feminine point of view.
Okay, so I personally think peacekeeping generally has evolved, and now women are very involved. Initially, like you said earlier on before we started this, we had few numbers of females participating in this, and now we are seen as role models out there. We are looked upon by these young ones who want to grow and become like us. Also, as a CIMIC officer, I noticed that when we go out there to interact with the locals, most women would rather want to talk to us other than the men, because they have other religious, they have some religious
beliefs. I mean, if you could say that.
Beliefs that sometimes would deter them or limit them from interacting directly with men. So when women and peacekeeping go out there, not only in Lebanon, but in all other mission posts, you realize that they open up more to women than men. So that also helps. And let's say if a woman is having any issue, for instance, if some family issues, things that are gender related, they would rather want to talk to a woman about it in terms of maybe medical. They rather want to talk to the women about it other than men. So it goes a long way to help UN missions generally.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good to know. What role would you say, and this goes to all four, what role do you think technology plays in modern peacekeeping, and how has it impacted your work?
So technology has enhanced communication and ensured better coordination among UNIFIL peacekeepers. And also there's been improvements in surveillance. And this has helped us to monitor large areas and also respond quickly to threats.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, the same technology will also be in the hands of those who would wish to do you harm, right?
Exactly.
Okay. This job itself would come with some physical and mental demands, if I could say. How do you prepare for these demands in these high stress environments? Personally, I'll be happy if all four can share how they prepare for the physical and mental demands of peacekeeping.
Okay, so I would say a constant communication with family, friends, and loved ones. And in such a high stress environment, if you are in constant communication with your families, your friends, loved ones, checking up on you, updating you on happenings back home, so you are not worried how your families are faring in your absence. It goes a long way to help you deal with the physical and mental demands of peacekeeping. Peacekeeping is very demanding, physically and mentally, because you are taking up the burden of the people you serve in the theater. So, for instance, in southern Lebanon, the people here are burdened, and you have come here as a peacekeeper to take up their burden. You've come here as a peacekeeper to take up their burden, their problems, and help them navigate this difficult situation. So it takes a toll on you. And if you have problems of your own, it is very difficult to take on someone's burden. As such, keeping in constant communication with family, friends, loved ones, to reassure yourself that everything back home is okay, all is well in your absence, the family is faring very well, there are no stresses in the country that are hindering their progress or development. It gives the peacekeeper the peace of mind to focus on his work here and put in all his best or all his all in accomplishing any task given to him. Lastly, I also add that through various entertainment activities and physical activities we engage in here, it helps us take our mind off the work sometimes, because all work and no play would make Jack a very, 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 very dull boy.
Yeah, I get that.
These entertainment activities, these physical activities, it takes us away from the working space a bit, be able to distress, do some fun activities, refresh ourselves, then falling back and continue the work we have been assigned to do in the theater. I think this is how we are able to deal with and stay prepared for these physical and mental demands of peacekeeping.
Is this speaking for all of you, or others have various ways they also handle the pressures of the physical and mental demands?
To add to that, generally as a battalion, we have the medical team, which involves psychological teams. Okay, we go around to the various companies and we have psychological education with them. These are routines that we do here to help them to also bring out their concerns, and then we see how we can solve that medically aside the physical aspect, like my colleague said earlier. Also, our commander has been very helpful. You know, when you have a leader who is constantly there with you, makes you aware he is with you through all the situations, psychologically you are geared up and you are prepared, and you know that you are not in this alone. So it goes a long way to help us here.
Anybody sharing another opinion on this?
I think that doing personal, regular physical training and also maintaining a balanced routine and ensuring rest and recreation can help to manage stress, and also offering counseling to troops when they are distressed.
So in doing that, music is going to play a very important role and all that. I want to find out what kind of entertainment are you talking about, because I think Captain Mijida and Nana Bain also touched on that part. Can I find out what music are you listening to? How are you getting in touch with the motherland?
Okay, so we deploy on these missions with integral and, let's say, organic band from the Armed Forces Central Band, made up of the dance band and the regimental band. So at various entertainment programs and activities, they entertain us or they treat us to very good Ghanaian tunes. As part of the dance band, we have a disc jockey who comes with his gadgets. So we are not left out, and we are always updated with the new songs in Ghana. So if you release a song today, the next morning when we have an entertainment activity, we make sure we enjoy the tunes Ghanaians are also enjoying.
So what's the biggest tune? What is the current biggest tune you are dancing to in Lebanon?
Okay, so we are We are currently grooving to King Paluta's Asida.
We'll play Asida for you. We'll play Asida for you. That's amazing. Let me also. You are also interacting with peacekeepers from various different nations, if I could ask that. Are you?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so what is the importance of collaboration and cooperation among these different nations and organizations in peacekeeping?
Okay, so thank you very much. So in UNIFIL operations, we have 9 troop contributing countries, that's battalions, just like we came. So we have Ghanaians, we have the Italians, we have the Malaysians, the Koreans, that's the South Koreans, we have the Irish and the Polish, Spain, Indonesia, India, Nepal. So these battalions have surrounded us, and in collaborating and cooperating with them, this is how it plays out. So happenings and incidents in their various areas also affect us. So in sharing information between the various nations in UNIFIL area of operations or in UNIFIL theater, it gives us an enhanced situational awareness, because if there's an incident going on in our colleague nation's area, it's likely it will also occur in ours. So we better prepare our troops, or we train our troops to prepare for such incidents if they may happen. Also, we do activities together where we exchange culture, we exhibit each other's culture through dance, music, food, dressing, etc. So we get to know how the other nation also, what's the name? The other nation lives, what their culture is, how their food is. The food very important, because when we visit them in their areas, we are forced or we are compelled to take their food. So when we are introduced to this, it makes us acclimatize or warm up to them very well when we meet together as peacekeepers. And you hardly find a difference, because we are all in the blue beret, working as uniform peacekeepers. And I must say that we stand out because we exhibit our culture as Ghanaians very well through our music, through our dance, through our culture, through our dressing. And one thing that stands out is our food. Most peacekeepers from other battalions love our food, especially the spicy nature of our food, and they give thumbs up to our jollof also every time.
Oh, our jollof is raining in Lebanon as well.
Oh,
Ghana jollof is the
yeah,
best.
baby.
I think they are liking the gobe.
Oh,
And then the sobolo.
okay. Captain Mami Frema, let me find out who is cooking these things.
So we came with our cooks from Ghana, and we brought some of the ingredients too from Ghana. So anytime we have visitors coming around, or even to just maybe usually during weekends we eat Ghanaian foods, and we invite our counterparts to come and enjoy with us.
Oh, okay. I wanted to be clear on that. So, what message would you like to share with the public on International Peacekeeping Day? And this one, we go around the table.
Okay, so I'll start. Definitely. So I'll say that peacekeeping is everyone's business. Just that the few military personnel, that is us, and some civilian personnel have been privileged to be on the front line in the various peacekeeping theaters. But these frontline personnel, myself included, we rely on the support, prayers, and encouragement from our families and friends. And as such, we urge them to continue to strongly support us unflinchingly, to spur us on as we contribute our efforts to ensure and maintain world peace. So this is my short message out there to families and family on this important day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next person, if I may please ask.
Okay, so I'd like to express my deep gratitude to the public and our families for their support and the encouragement and sacrifices they make for us to be here. we are here supporting other families, and we thank them for supporting us.
Okay.
So I would first of all want to say thank you to all peacekeepers out there. Aside every other thing that we do here on the nation, we all had our personal issues back home on the job, but we have all been able to put our differences together and minds together to support peacekeeping. So I just want to say kudos to them, and that we should keep it going because we are of good importance. So we shouldn't give up. Even when it gets tough, we should keep going.
Okay.
Okay, so on this day, I would want to honor the bravery and dedication of all peacekeepers and reaffirm our commitment to building a more peaceful world.
Oh, okay. Captain Majida, how do you see the role of UN peacekeeping evolving in the future, and what challenges are you anticipating?
Okay, so the UN peacekeeping will likely continue to evolve towards more comprehensive peace building, integrating new technologies and focusing on preventing conflict rather than just responding to them. Some of the challenges that they might face we might face in the future will have to do with the asymmetric threat. That is the threat coming from within. It might not be from one country to the other country. It might be from within, maybe terrorism in a particular country. And then the challenges will also include inadequate funds to support what we do, and adapting to rapidly changing political landscape in a particular country.
Okay. Any final advice to any young persons listening to us and considering a career in peacekeeping? What would you tell them?
Okay, so I would say it's a worthy cause. Peacekeeping is a worthy cause. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, blessed are the peacemakers because they will be called sons of God. And in our world, which is so much full of violence and fighting, Jesus Christ sends us as peacekeepers into the world. And as such, everyone should endeavor to be a peacekeeper or a peacemaker.
Thank you very, very much. So aside the music and the food, how do you keep abreast with happenings in Ghana whilst you're away?
So just like you mentioned earlier, technological advancement, and we have the local internet facility here installed for troops or for all soldiers to have access to. And as such, we're able to serve the various social media platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, the likes, Google, the main internet platform to gain access to information and happenings on things around. And I believe you liaise with our public information officer for this interview to happen. Yes, and so during our weekly operations conferences, she updates us on happenings in Ghana, in Africa, and around the world. And through these various bits of information sources, we get to know what is going on in Ghana. So currently, we know Bloomberg has closed operations and moved to Atlanta. And this is because of that.
Okay. That's good information to have.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on Z in the morning, right here on Z 101.9 FM. We wish you the very, very best.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to serve as a peacekeeper.
Thank you. So that was Lieutenant Nana Bain Apiakum, Captain Sylvia Agbenyo, Captain Mami Frema Eduse Poku, and Captain Mohammed Kelani Mijida from Lebanon joining us today on International Peacekeepers Day, right here on Z 101.9 FM. It's 8:50. We'll do customer service and experience moments right after this. And then we go into the last hour. Today's a Wednesday. What are Wednesdays? Wednesdays are Science and Tech Wednesdays. Abdullah Saka will pass through with some tidbits. Then right after thereafter, we will talk to someone who is a recognized doyen in the area of cybersecurity. He's going to talk about the Cybersecurity Act and all the matters relating to cybersecurity in this country. This is still Z in the morning. I am still Jerry Home.
It's great to be